Dear Dhamma friends, we are going to start the talk today. May everyone settle down and give the consent with 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse Bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Punnaca parang ananda bhikkhu amanasikaritva akinchanyayatana sanyang amanasikaritva neva sanyana sanyayatana sanyang animittang ceto samadhimmi cittam pakkhandati pasidati santittati adimucchati ti. Dear Dhamma friends, the words we have used for today's topic are completely not in our day-to-day vocabulary. It's a very deep words, very deep concepts, very deep perception. So therefore, we have to understand under the light of the trend we have developed, the case history we have developed. To translate the phrase, again Ananda Bhikkhu, not attending to the perception of the base of the nothingness, not attending to the perception of the base on the neither perception nor perception, attend to the signless dependent on the signless concentration. So this is kind of a area not related to this world. Everything in this so-called the conscious world or anything what we have expressed, everything is nothing but sanya. So slowly, we replace the gross sanya, gross perception with the subtle one, and the subtle perception with the subtlest, and keep on doing. While doing, it at a level, it come up to the peak or the consummation. There is no sanya as such, but your tools are there. Your mindfulness may be there, and with the help of mindfulness, by the familiarity to these subtle states, now the Buddha is telling, once that mindfulness established, that will give rise to a concentration, or kind of a confidence, that mind become again settled. It is become focused, it's become pointed, one-pointed, but utterly not the way the conventional concentration happens. And the conventional concentration or samatha, samadhi, or calmness, always there is an object. On that object only, the one-pointedness, the calmness can happen. But now, for the first time in the human history, the Buddha is reporting there's another kind of concentration, which we can say vipassana samadhi. It's testing and putting into question, can the mind be completely calm, completely concentrated, but upon what no one knows. That is what you call the signless, dependent on the signless concentration. The concentration as such, it is animitta, so it is completely contradictory to the beginner's mind. The beginner is always trying to find either anapana nimitta, or the body as a nimitta, or rising and falling as a nimitta, or left leg and the right leg as the nimitta. Whenever the nimitta found, he feel like achieving. But here, the Buddha bring to the point, as far as there is a nimitta, it is inferior. The moment you train your mind in this very life, the concentration is intact, mindfulness is intact, but you are dead sure there's no object. So that change, very difficult to teach in the linear system. the very early values you try to establish at the sacrification of your all dear and near ones, sacrification of your all likings and disliking, you try to some or the other establish the nimitta or the sign. And whenever the sign happens, you will retreat it, okay, my sitting is okay, my walking is okay, because I can be face to face with the sign. And not only that, you can give the shape of the sign. You can see the nature of the manner of the sign and the evolution of the sign. So therefore you tend to recognize your meditation as such, sometimes the mindfulness as such, with respect to that sign, and everything, the successful meditation report is, you are reporting about the sign you have seen, so it can be expressed by akara, linga, nimitti, uddesa. It's a manner, it's sign, and the way you discriminate for the other sign, and the behavior. So these four are the tools in our language. Whenever we are making something out, discriminate, we take it is not the same akara, the manner. It is different manner. The females are different in the manner from the males. Elders are different from the younger. Youngers are different from the middle age. Likewise, each and every thing, so to say, experience or encounter, we recognize with respect to the others because of its own akara. Linga, we give a sign for that. It is showing its own extraordinary thing, that's we call linga, and it says that each and every human on the earth says, I am not common with others, I am specific, this is my liking, this is my dislike, and kind of he is fighting from the morning to evening to say, I am extraordinary. And each and every grain of the sand bed is try to show it is not the common with the shape with the next grain of sand, and it's extraordinary. So that is how one-upmanship happens, survival of the fittest happens. Always each and every one showing its own additional character, extra character. It's called linga. Nimitta, whenever this, so much of things are going to present their own abilities and performance and kind of thing, we focus to only one thing at a time, even though everyone come and try to show it, our mind pick one. That's the one become an object for our experience. That does not indicate at a given time we have only one object. 1,001 objects are there. Each and everyone trying to say it is extraordinary. Each and everyone going to say I am separate from others from the shape. And then accordingly, the way we select that particular object, we put a name, nomenclature, and then we start talking. If you do not have this kind of akara, linga, nimitti, uddesa, we can't make them out, we can't report, and that is how the computer science came into being. That's how the botany, physics, chemistry came into being. Each and every animal, it has bilingual nomenclature. And then we know we are talking on that. Even we have not seen the animal, but that's the way we fix it. So when and where it is happening, even the animal is not there, we can have a conference on the akara we have fixed. Linga, nimitti, uddesa. So that is the way it is happening. Recently there was an article in Sri Lankan newspaper. There's a special frog in Singaraja, and the frog is writing, you bloody Sri Lankan better know that now I am no more Sri Lankan. Now my patent has been recorded in America. So therefore all the shapes, all the manners, all the behavior, you can't talk about, now I am American. Because my first discovery was by an American. He is the person got the patent about me. So therefore, you bloody fellows, you don't know. I am such a special person. Americans also recognize. Don't come and play with me. So this is the way the media is working. We don't know which frog is talking. Even the bloody Americans do not know. So this is the way it happens. Anything you can make, whenever you attribute the shape, the manner, and how it stands out of others, and whenever you label it, and this is how it happens. So easily we can explain how money came into being instead of gold. Gold has its own intrinsic value. The weight of the gold is value. But later what happened? The big bankers, they collected the whole gold together and gave it just a note telling, don't worry about the gold, keep it. And they are keeping all the set of gold. We are just dealing with this just trivial press printed note. They have no limits of printing notes for them. We are worrying about the notes. If anyone go and ask the Federal Bank in the America, do you have annual report for your company? No. Do you have any responsible to the government? No. But they are the people deciding how many notes they are going to print. So now how much we are fighting for 100 notes? Because it has come into our mind so hard and fast. It has its own shape, color, different from the sterling pounds, from Sri Lankan rupees, and we are given the name, so whenever we get it, we have so much of value. But it's just a camouflage. And the or worst, I would say, the irony is, when and where money came into being, the term stress came into human mind. Before the money, no stress. Because we were bartering, helping each other, nothing to worry, no Dhammajiva, no kind of going the value up and down of the money, because money was not there. Money is the first and foremost thing human invented, just like a cancer. Soon it came into being. People are fighting each other for money, but money means nothing. You can't eat it. Money. So that is how our values, our science, our perception came into being. Now we are fighting each other, killing each other in order to prove my perception is better than yours. That's what you call martyrdom, killing people for their belief. And present day, religion is the first and foremost killer on the earth. They are killing each other for sectarianism. And if you go and ask, have you seen that so-called omnipotent, omnipresent God? No, we have not seen, but we are sure about. So if you are not believing, you are not a soul, you must be destined to kill. And that is how it is happening. So the Buddha, never challenging as such the money or religious values or nothing, but is asking us, take one thing within your body and try to see, do you have a special shape in the body? Of course, when you are looking at your passport, you get the photo, it is fixed. But daily, soon after you get up, your shape is different. After you put up a makeup, your shape is different. After a bath, shape is different. It's changing. And manner you are working, each and every person has at least 18 masks. Whenever you see a pleasurable one, who put the mark with the full smile, and you go and talk with him, and at that time, the long face mark is behind. When someone is not happy comes, you put a long face mask and say, why you are coming and what I have to do, and all the kind of thing. And likewise, you are in your drawer, there should have it says at least 18 masks you are changing. So which one is real? Nothing. Nothing is real. You don't know how you are manipulating them in order to run the game, to run this makeup in the drama, and you don't know who is the author of the drama. You don't know the agenda of the drama. But you are trying to perform as natural as possible, so much you are artificial. So this is the game. So therefore, take the body as such, and then see Akara, Linga, Nimiti, Uddesa. And whenever it is changing, you can't find any pivotal point, any benchmark. So therefore, at the beginning, you have to fix benchmark and see from all the sides, from all the facets, what is permanent there. And what is trustworthy, satisfactory there. What is under your control. So, normal common beings, they believe their sensuous gratification and the movable and unmovable asset is their most benefactory thing. That is what we are living on the earth. And that is what our universities are teaching us. That's what our parents expect from us. That's what the classroom teachers are going to tell us. Do whatever jugglery may be, have possession. And because that is what you think is the most trustworthy. And you think it has its own credibility, but when and where you come up to a certain extent, you understand more property, more frustration. And it is well established. So as far as you are not up to the basic needs, of course property is something very valuable. Once you have the basic needs, and then you can see anything beyond the basic need is carcinogenic. Anything beyond the basic need is frustrating, problem. So people do not know what is the basic need and what is the luxury, what is the consumerization. So whatever you earn, ultimately consume, not you consume them, they consume you. That is how people think about the spiritual life, getting into the forest and contemplative life. So the Buddha says, as we have discussed in the early part of the discourse, when and where you come to that minority to see or challenge the social norms or going against the grain, so your first and foremost step is physical solitude. You go to enter into a forest or sit under a tree or go to a solitude place and see how much you are pakkandati, pasidati, santittati, adimucchati, you plunge into that forest life. How much you take delight of the forest life. How much you try to get established in the forest life. And how much you have the adimucchati, steadfast. Or believing it, that indicate your first stage, your renunciation is successful or not. Therefore, even after coming in the forest life, or monastic life, or retreat life, if you find fault with it, if you find difficult with that, that clear indication your renunciation is not complete. You are not living up to that. So therefore, the same term we are using again and again, pakkandati, pasidati, tantittati, adimucchati, must be resolute. This is what I earn. If you are not appreciating it, you are physically solitude, but mentally you are a slave. You are back at home. You are back in other places, other things. So check, specifically in the modern language, we can say in our first retreat, second retreat, third retreat, how much we take delight in the monastic atmosphere. How much we delight in the timetable in the retreat. How much we delight the other core practitioners rather than find fault with. That's, if it is, there's a kind of a trend in your behavior, there's a very clear sign that you are doing away with so much of frustration. So more and more you get anchored in the monastic life, so much so you can do away with the sensuous pleasure and the household life or socialization. And when and where you come to the monastic life, as I have mentioned in number of times, it is by itself is not pleasurable. Don't expect that. But you have to make it pleasurable through your spiritual endeavorance, through your theoretical understanding, through your deductive thinking, and then only you can think about the advanced stage whereby you take sitting posture or walking posture or whatever may be and confine your attention to the posture. When and where you mindful on your body or posture, that means not only you have done away with the sensuous pleasure and socialization and standing on ceremonies, you have done away with the issues related to the retreat, monastery, forest life, because anything now pertaining to the body only become matters, and you must know how to plunge into that, how to take delight, how to get the establishment or more familiarity with your posture. And Adimucha, you must be resolute. Is of advancement is that I have what I have earned. More and more it is mindfulness and the diligence is confined to the body. That means so much so your whole problems, ethical problems, society-related problems, or society at large problems you are done away. Simply you can say you have done away with IT, information technology. When and where you come to the body, no information technology necessary because your communication is direct. You feel under your nose. There is no second party. And that indicates how much you love your body, how much you develop your loving kindness to your body, and wherever you go, you try to be in a very comfortable way. Whatever the amenities you have, make yourself comfortable. Don't think about the lacking things. Just make use what is available in improvisation, and that is the area I find the relationship with this monastic life and the Boy Scout and the Girl Guide. They are the masters how to improvise things. So it's a kind of a hobby. And then only then you can be directly touched without intermediate agent how the elements are working. Elements are very direct under-nose experience. So when and where it is going to manifest, you now worrying mind regarding the household life, the worrying mind and the stress mind regarding the monastic atmosphere, worrying mind about the body is gone, is highly engaged, plunged, taken delight, established, so to say, and resolute that seeing element itself is an achievement. So on the way easily you can see worries pertaining to monastic life is an achievement. As far as you know the worries pertaining to the monastic life, you have done away with the worries pertaining to the sensual life. As far as you know the worries, stress, difficulties, uncomfortability of your body, so much so you done away with this huge stress pertaining to the social life and the monastic life. So therefore, the body itself is going to give a set of difficulties, set of burning sensation, but more and more you get established in it, it is going against the grain, so much so you have done away with the society, monastic life, and when and where you see body is nothing but this elementary characteristic, each and every element appearing, it's never going to give any appeasement for you. It's always disturbing you. Always contradictory thing, heat and cold, movements and steadiness, the cohesiveness and fluidity, hardness and softness. So they are not caring whether you are meditator or not. They happen. Of course, it's a ambiguity. But as far as you are plunging into it, as far as you take delight in it, as far as you try to get the establishment in this wavy kind of ocean, you see you have done away with the early parts. So that you must understand, the Buddha, by his own word, he says, as far as you know your elementary characteristic you are sunya, or void of, household problems, monastic problems, problems related to the body, because now in the target port you are focusing more and more towards the bullseye. Outer circles are not much important. They are just given the guidance. You are more to the bullseye. And when and where the elements come into being, and if you can pasidati, that means very delightful if you observe it, each and every element has a bell-shaped curve. You only see the peak, you only see the tip of the iceberg. That's good access. Be aware, and then when and where you are face to face with the elementary dancing, see each and everyone is completely independent of the other event, other places. So try to isolate as much as possible one thing and see if it is following the rising part, middle and the end. Don't worry, even if you are not seeing the others, they also have the same. So therefore, whatever the starting point is to show the common character. Once you see the common character, it doesn't matter whether you see all the elements, you know that is the nature. So more and more you practice, of course you are exposing to see the unseen things also. Ultimately you find the elements, they are showing the beginning, the middle and the end, that intrinsic character, and end of one element is completely independent of the rising of the next element. That means there is a gap. And 1001 elementary characteristic or cosmic dance is happening, they never fight each other. They never stumble upon. So that means there is a geographical space. So more and more you find, when two people get together, they are fighting. But the elements put 1001 into the one square inch, no fighting. That means they are always get a distance. So more practice, you understand, they are keeping their distance. That is the way out of your stress. That's the way out of your tension. That's the way out of your frustration. And more you keep the distance from one to the other, it doesn't matter the population. 1001, everything you can pack, they are not fighting each other. It's the nature. Because the elementary characteristics do not have tanha mana ditti. They don't have desire. They don't have conceit. They are not self-centric. And this is such a demonstration. Lokohamsa used to say, the elements are showing so much the nature, how much our mind is unhappy with the elements. Instead, we are happy to listen music. That's a man-made nonsense. You are happy to listen dramas, such an ugly thing. This drama is very natural, but it is so boring. It is so difficult. That is why you have to take delight. That's why you have to plunge into that. That's why you have to get this kind of establishment in these elements. And Adhimucchati, resolute, this is the path. Now you are more and more to the nature. And you can see how much the nature is keeping the distance each other. They are not, can never get congested. Even if they are so highly populated, that means the space. And if you are wise enough, if you can, if you are technically efficient enough, you can have a very close view and you can see how much they are keeping the distance. Even though invariably they have the beginning, the middle and the end, but never hit each other. And when you are observing, you can see the space. And that understanding is the cumulative effect of your past few stages, and where you know where to focus. The element is not the matter. The space between element is the thing, ultimately focus. So therefore now you are slowly shifting from matter to non-matter, or matter to fine matter. Each time you are shifting, your egotistic idea is losing its gravity. Your conceit is losing your gravity. Your desire is losing your gravity, because you can't separate out in the elementary characteristics, they are universal. Everywhere it is equal. So, as far as you are searching dhatu, elements, the me and not me can happen. You can say this dhatu is me and this is not me. This is subjective, this is objective. That difference is there. But the moment you go to the space, that difference disappears. Therefore, your language collapses. Your language can't go beyond, because it depends completely on this me and not me relationship. Object and subject differences. So when and where you go into space, you find your whole grammar, the whole language, communication, me and not me, boundaries, everything has to be sacrificed, and therefore it is being called, you are leaving the Kamaloka with the help of Rupaloka. Now you are leaving the Rupaloka with the help of Rupaloka. So it's a, now you are going to the Aryan age, or to the more refined kind of a language. Beyond that, this common language, human language won't work. Then onward, only the universal language work. It is called elementary language. They are talking in terms of elements. And that is also not much valid. In the elementary part, only the space you can find. Now you are not, you are a cosmic being now. You are not located someplace. You become a cosmic, because the space beyond the time and space. So therefore, when and where you go to the akasa, it's also perception. Akasanam chayatana sanya. The plunging into it, easily you can say against the grain. Taking delight of it, your normal liking is like never happy. And establishment, we have to find establishment. It is akasa. And resolute faith, so far your faith was on something positive, existing. Now it is slowly going into the non-existence in terms of the materiality. So it's a kind of a very good test for someone whether I am a religious, really religious. I'm a real yogi. Do I know how to entering into the nothingness, how to entering into the voidness? So that is the area you need interviews and the discussion the most. But this area is very, very subtle. So if you are lucky, when you are meditating, if there are some other people, those who know the subject, they can talk and share. That is a place we call the sasana. The Buddha mentioned, the sasana exists very rare. Dullabho manusatta patilabho, dullabho buddhuppado. These rare things happen, therefore sometimes you are lucky enough, while you are shifting from the matter to the non-matter or element to the space, still you are not mad. Still you not break your brain. You are not unconscious, you are not sending to a silence, that you can understand this is a kind of a deep layer in our mind, even though you have not used it, but you are endowed with. So that is what we call spiritual exploration. That's what we call the gradual entering into the voidness. So hardly you can facilitate it, unless otherwise you have listened very carefully, very precisely, short to the point. Otherwise, whatever you think, is you pull back to the gross. Whenever the better thing available, our rational mind is pull it back to the good. When the good and the better given, if the rational mind is working, instead of better, it pull back to the good. So therefore, under that context, we can say, your progress is completely hindered because of your goodness. As far as you are adhering to the good, it will never go to the better. So whatever the goodness you have, is become no good. You have to forget about that, and that is the point where we call the going against the grain, rather than the matter. You go into the subtle matter or the space, and you have to have a correct view. You have to have a correct contemplation. The have means trouble. have means stress, have means tension, not have, at least with respect to the matter, is no tension, no frustration with compared to the matter. So therefore you are plunging into the less and less stress, less and less tension, frustration, trauma, all the kind of things. So it is your utter decision. There's no second person involved. There's no second aspect related. Complete your ignorance or understanding. That's why the Buddha is proclaiming this kind of thing. When you are meditating, it can happen. I'm telling you, forget about the matter, go into the akasa. And when you go there, you can understand still your rational mind is pulling back to the gross or to the subtlety. So with respect to subtlety, you happy with the gross. Or with respect to the grossness, you happy with the subtlety, duality. That duality is much subtler than this discrimination between the matter and the fine matter. So that understanding is now you are entering into the perversion of your mind. You are entering into the under the carpet dust. That these things are not in the obvious on top of the carpet. It's under the carpet. So unless you understand, so all these dust is tendencies, disposition. They are pulling all the way you from the neutral position to extremes, make you eccentric. So understanding is a must, but don't let them to carry you for a trip, carry you for a this and that, liking, disliking, or conceit, or your ego trip. And that understanding, you become so much limited to yourself. If you are well learned, and if you are with good deductive thinking, rational thinking, and you know how to look at you sarcastically yourself, how to know to look at yourself critically, that is what the Buddha says, Kayi Kayanupassi Virati. Just don't look at the Kaya. See the Kaya as a separate person, different person. Your Kaya is utter the problem. Never happy. So look at the Kaya Kayanupassi Virati. Vedanasu Vedananupassi Virati. Don't look at from the conventional point of view. Look at from the twisted way, critical way, ironic way. And that is the character of Vipassana. If you are conventional, easily will be carried away by these underlying tendencies, and tendencies you will recognize as myself. So far you have done with the transgression kind of defilements, and you are fairly successful in the obsessional kind, otherwise you can't be face to face with the matter, elements. And whenever it is going to the subtle matters, the underlying tendencies are going to play so much of a game. Don't take serious. Always look at sarcastically. Always look at critically. Always look at against the grain. Always look at in a radical way. And sometimes in Sanskrit they say sahasika. Sahasika means it's a unbelievable way you are looking at your own behavior. How it's working. Don't justify. Don't try to reify it. That means your reification is on the ignorance. And you are knowingly or unknowingly support the desire. Tanha, avidya. So more you practice, you will understand your mind. Take the upper hand to discriminate duality. It's split into two and fighting each other. And when and where you see it, you understand this consciousness I consider that as myself, but it never work for my well-being. So always try to make use me for their own agenda, that is sexual proliferation. Our machine is meant not for the enlightenment, it is for this propagation and the security. This is the way the consciousness is working. In immaterial, whether you are male or female, whatever may be, it is working with the survival of the fittest. If I am to quote the evolution. And the day you see, you can understand the humanity. You can understand animals. You can understand the difference between the animal kingdom and the plants, flora and fauna. The flora, so beautiful, never fight, just like a Dhatu Manasikara. 1001 vegetations are in the forest, no fighting. But whenever fauna, the animal being come into being, of course it's the advanced stage in compared to the flora. As you see the fighting, survival of the fittest, without that no evolution. So more evolution means more beastly, more cutthroatism, more one-upmanship. You are nothing exceptional. You are exactly the some other person, you have the equal cutthroatism, equal one-upmanship, equal survival of the fittest. Earlier you thought I am a specific because I am Samaritan, I am a benevolent person, I am blah blah blah. But when you understand the consciousness, you understand the thorns in the thorny tree, no one is sharpening. It is born thorny. That's the way it is working. So it's very difficult to cope up with. Some people go mad. When to understand my mind is so dirty. That's what I was claiming as me. But now when you expose it, you see no difference. Angulimala, Devadatta, Chinchumanuika, Patachara, Ananda, Rahula, Nanda, all are the same. Exactly the same. Whenever you go to the subconscious, it's a universal. So you have to understand, whenever without knowing, only just by the tip of the iceberg, if you are going to give identity, nomenclature, labeling, that you are completely covering the majority part, subsurface, submarine. Whenever you go there, you feel run away telling that you have seen a ghost. That's what the cartoon in the Nilambe. Whenever you are meditating, you see the inner dirtiness and you will start running. You will say, I get the bad dreams and I get that shock and this shock. Sure, because you are seeing what is underneath. It's under the carpet. And some people go and start Pirit Nula, and some people go for the Vaskavi, Shet Kavi, and that puja, dit puja, because of this fear. That fear of truth, that fear of unknown. So imagine the amount of personality, the braveness, you to see the function of the vijnana. So the Buddha says, during the time of the Buddha, everyone thought vijnana is the core. That is myself. That is the at last thing I must call as me, mine, myself. And the Buddha says, it is true as far as you have not seen it. The day you see, you understand, it is nothing to get ashamed because everyone in the same boat. You can't say, I am the only dirty person. You can say if you claim it as me, mine, myself. And the Buddha says, give the license, disclaim it, let it work, function in its natural order, and just have a look at, have a view, under the surveillance of vigilance, surveillance of mindfulness, and vijnana cannot hide, always performing. But each and every time it is performing, you can see either tanha, either mana or ditti, desire, conceit, or egocentric idea. So seeing that, don't consider as something negative, don't consider it non-ethical, it is the only help you are doing, and then only you feel like nothing is better than anything. That's the way, sabba papassa karanam kusalassa upasampada. Doing nothing is the first and foremost thing all the Buddhas recommended, sabba papassa karanam, and it is been mentioned, first do no harm in medical science. The first and foremost thing you have to say, oath, first do no harm. And present day medical science is doing completely opposite. Whenever you go to hospital, finished. You will get cured, but the house family members get headache and heart attack when they see the bill. That's the medical science. And they know. So they have arogya paravalava. Maintain this thing, and they can't come and prick you and pick you. And that is the way. So therefore, you understand the teaching of the Buddha, Sabba Papa Sakarana. And another formula. Chetanam bhikkhave kammam vadāmi. Any chetana is karma. You call it as kusala karma, akusala karma, and ananjabi sankara karma. Whatever may be extending your samsara. So you have to learn the art to do nothing. That is the maximum of your restrainment, not the physical verbal. But now we go to the mental part. That's called chitta sankara. And how to calm down. And that calming down is, you are not claiming what the vijnana is playing. It is dirty game from morning to evening. And if it is happening, you try your best not to do consciously, not to do volitionally, not to do willfully. But even then, due to your habits, momentum, liking and desire, they are happening. So whenever it is happening, you must be very sympathetic to yourself. And you see, now at least I managed not to have new karmic forces. This is the momentum of the past. On top of that, I am going to give more new. What a kind of perpetuation. So far, that was the case. And therefore, you try your maximum not to get committed volitionally, willfully, with determination and wishes. Let things happen. So then you can go, you can plunge into the sanyagga, the highest case, akinchanyayatana, you are in nothing. And if you are not prepared, it appear like a black hole, it appear like a shock, it appear like a thundering, and you will get completely upset. But if you are preparing to the way descending into the emptiness, the way descending into the voidness, then you comparatively you can understand that area. Whenever you go to akinchana, nattikinchi, no memory. You can't remember what happened. Only you can remember once you come out. And you see this nothing, akinchana, no thing, area, due to your patipada, due to a repetitive application and gradual training, you can go there, but it is not a natural state. It is a theoretical maximum, but can't live in this day-to-day life. So therefore, you can go, definitely, but theoretically you have to understand it is not an equilibrium. So you have to compromise, you have to have so much of training, so much of precision, so much of efficiency to go there and not balance. So instead, you have to compromise neither perception nor non-perception. Maybe little perceptions are there. Never mind, but don't claim. Don't see this as me, mine and myself. So things are happening. They are not hard and fast. You have to understand they are just perception. Let them happen. But you must know the art, how to not to worry. They come and go. Of course, without your involvement, they start. Without your involvement, they grow. Without your involvement, they cease to exist. So you get a distance and observation. Is the part, today the Buddha says, then you are learning kind of a mindfulness. You are learning kind of a concentration. Things are passing. You focus nothing. You focus nothing, but you know each and every time some thoughts are happening, sounds are happening, pains are happening, primary object happens, secondary object happens. You never recognize with them, but you keep the least frictional path. You keep the comfort zone. You are aiming nothingness. That means signlessness. Anything with the sign is dirty. Anything with the sign is attention. Anything with the sign is frustration. Anything with the sign is defilement. So therefore, you understand signs are there, but with respect to that, there is an area, signlessness. So it is like Sankhara Upekha in the Sattva-visuddhi system. Sankharas are there. Already agglomerated, or quantums are there. They are moving in the field. But you never focus them. You never take it as a pivotal. The Buddha says, Nissitasa chalitang, anisitasa chalitang nati. If you depend upon that kind of thing, it will give a shock. It will give a frustration. It will give a tension. Depend upon nothing, no frustration, no tension. It's a completely against the normal theory. In the Upanishad Sutta, very clearly Buddha says, whenever you get lenient with this sanya, or thought, or pain, or primary object, whatever may be, you feel like it is as a refuge, you feel like a pivot, but it will immediately pump its shock, injana, kampana, spandana, papanchana to you, and more you grab hold, you will get shocked. So instead the Buddha says, take them a relative thing, not to touch, instead touch nothing. And then imagine kind of a training, imagine kind of a mastery or seasoning you have to do. When and where things come and suggesting this thing and all the kinds of, you just behave like a blind person or deaf or person with no perception like, and your focus must be always to the signlessness. So you are completely now against with the beginner's mind. Beginner is always finding something to hold into, to develop your concentration, the pivotal value, the benchmark. Now you're completely gone. It says when you are studying a bed spring, it's a conical in shape, and the biggest cycle is on the ground, and it is complete, and then the circle is circling and up and center into center. So when you are progressing, when you are at the lowermost line, that means you are sensuous being, and you have started the spiritual life, so it is you are always at the lower bottom. And when and where you take the upward cut, you imagine one tangency. It may be at a time directed to the east, and when it's a half round, it's completely the west. And when you are coming to the next cycle, another spiral, again you are facing to the east, and when you're halfway done, west. So you're all what you believe, you tend to disbelieve. All what you like, you tend to dislike. All what you dislike, you try to like. Appear like cheating. This is the progress. So it is not only one cycle, it's rotating number of cycles. So therefore, whatever you mention as good, one day you have to say, maybe it is not good. Whatever you give a value, you understand it's no value. So that is why the Buddha says, when and where Putujjana says, this is existing, Aryan says not existing. Whenever Aryan says that you can have a consciousness, can have a concentration on nothingness, Putujjana says, how can? That concentration always must have an object. There won't be such a concentration. So you deny. So that is how in the Dvitanupassana Sutta, whatever the Putujjana is telling, it is not accepted by the Aryans. Whatever the Aryan Puggala is telling with all compassion and sympathy, Putujjana point blank denied. How can them? That if the concentration is there, object must be there. So see now the path the Buddha took from the household life or social life or conventional life, bringing and now he says, when you are in this Nivasanya, Nasanya, like signs are appearing, perceptions are appearing, so swift, it's a flux, it's going. Under such circumstances, can you focus nothingness? That's plunging into nothingness. That's entering into nothingness. Or that's entering into the sunyata. And not only that, animitta, apanhita, sunyata, 3 terms Buddha is mentioning. When and where you try to focus animitta, not object, but lack of object, you will never have a future plan. You can't. Because everything is so swift. Everything is a flux. Upon what you are going to project? Time-based or space-based, all of them are null and void. So therefore, all the future plans you had occupied your mind more than 80%. Therefore, Putujana living on their own dreams, they never in the natural way of living. When and where you comes to know animitta, they understand how much time we are wasting for the future plan. How much burning the candle from both the ends. So the moment you give up, and you find now everything is here. Now contentment is there, inalienable, unalloyed, nothing, but that means everything. So the contradictory words come into being. When and where you are not take refuge anything, you are in full protection. When and where you go to nothingness, you are completely contented. And this contradiction happens. Imagine how much learning you must have, how much preparation you must have to go there, and that is what you call sunyata. So there you learn, like a heavy aeroplane after gathering the momentum, slowly become airborne, is no more depending on a hard thing. It is now in the aerodynamics. Possible. It's possible. So the Buddha says, water depending on air, matter depending on the water, this is the way earth is running. And in the physics we says, water depending on the hard soil, upon that only air. This is the way we are being taught in physics. But the Buddha says, everything is suspended on the air, on that water, upon the water on the solid thing. When you look at the earth, earth is rotating just on the air. There is no such any pivotal thing. There is no creator God coming and giving a pivot down there. Nothing. So, to understand on theoretical basis or in the rational basis itself is a thrilling. Itself is a really hilariating, but you must have sunyatavakan. You must appreciate day by day you got from good to better. When and where you are thinking, you take good more hard and fast at the cost of better. So you are your own enemy, you are your own frustration creator, tension creator. But each and everyone is end out with, if you go in a sequential way. So when and where you learn sankhara sadhya, but upekka, don't look at it. So whenever sankhara upekka is being exemplified, it says, if you are nearing a feather or a plastic thread to a candle wick, fire, it will never jump and burn, it will shrink backward. When you're clearing a feather, it shrink backward. So therefore, whenever any commitment happens, you backward. You become tugged into just like a turtle, and the way the mind is working, never jumping and giving. Always try to put the security first, rather than try to be smart. So that when you're training, it says, commentators, that's exactly the Arahant mind. You have not achieved any even Sotapanna, and it is the way you are rehearsing. Don't get involved. Don't get lenient into something. See nothingness, and when and where nothingness believing, you are believing the Buddha, the maximum. You are believing the Dhamma, maximum. You are believing the Sangha, maximum. You believe your own precept, maximum. Besides that, anything if you are believing, of course at the beginning you may have some landmarks that you have to at least theoretically understand the culmination. So therefore, have this grain in your mind when you are listening to the Chula Sunnatha Sutta, The day by day, if you are going from have to have not, it is not economic bankruptcy, but a spiritual gain. So that living as the last sentence and the wish, I would like to sum up the talk. Hope the one by one it is leading and you can make out something practical. So that's what must be our wish. Thank you very much for listening.